بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على رسولنا الكريم وعلى آله وأصحابه أجمعين. بعد بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقه قولي. أما بعد. So today's talk is I'm going to go through Surah Al-Sharh. Alam nashrah laka sadrak. I'll be going through that and some of the amazing, concentrated, powerful messages that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala revealed through that surah to His beloved Prophet alayhi salatu wassalam, and to the ummah of Nabiyuna alayhi salatu wassalam. So let's start straight into the surah. But before I do start, I want to ask whoever's brave enough to tell me about some of their personal dreams and aspirations. Now, I want to ask you, in the next 5 years, what do you want to have achieved? A personal dream, an ambition, something when you go to sleep at night, you think about, something that when you see others that may have achieved the same thing, you want to achieve as well. And by 2030, the summer of 2030, you want to have achieved that too. So who's brave enough to tell me about that personal dream, ambition of theirs? Rayan, you're 15 now, right? Huh? 14. Ibrahim, sorry man. It was Ryan, he'll be running over all around the room. Ibrahim, you tell me. So 2030, which country do you want to go be in by 2030?
I'm trying to go back to Bangladesh.
Bangladesh. Okay, 2030 you want to be in Bangladesh. Anyone else? Driving license. You already got your driving license, man. You want to have a car? 2030. What car do you want, Baba? A what? M140i. M140i. Anyone can beat that? Come on, man, be brave. 12, you got kids coming, stepping up to the platform, and you guys. M5. Okay. Hey, come on, bro, man. You want to go Bangladesh? Anyone else?
Is your question just aspirations or
personal dreams, aspirations, something that you really, really have wanted to achieve for a long time. In the next 5 years, you can say, you know what? I'm going to get that. Have the Quran. Okay. Let's leave it there. And let's go to the surah. Okay? بعد بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. ألم نشرح لك صدرك. You can translate that for me. Oh man, I'm sure you all can all translate this for me.
Did we not expand your chest?
Yeah. Did we not expand your chest? Now, why did Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala reveal this to Nabiyuna Muhammad alayhi salatu wasalam? It's one of the earliest surah of the Quran. And this was shortly after him receiving the bi'athah. Now, as we know, Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam would go to Mount Hira, he would meditate, contemplate. Why are we here? Man's greatest question. Why do my people do what they do? Why do they worship idols? Seeking an answer. And as we know, the answer came to him through Jibril alayhi salatu wasalam, declaring the answer to man's greatest question. The same question Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam was seeking the answer for. Why are we here? And the answer is that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created all of us. Created the heavens and the earth. And created us in this earth. In what I deem the greatest social experiment in human history. Because we are all living in a laboratory. You know, when scientists, they want to find out how the human being's biological processes work and all that sort of stuff, they put mouses into a laboratory, change some of their genes, give them some chemicals to see how they react. We are the same as those mice, living in the laboratory of the dunya. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, just as those scientists are looking upon the reaction of those mice to the different circumstances that they give them, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala likewise is looking upon us to how we react to the different circumstances that Allah will throw upon us. So just like those mice are in a laboratory, in a scientific experiment, we as insan are in our own laboratory, in our own scientific experiment. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is looking upon us, how we react to the different circumstances He will throw upon our path. That's the answer of life. Now, when the Prophet ﷺ realized this was the answer, realized that he came from a legacy of shirk, not a legacy of tawheed. But we know the Prophet ﷺ never practiced shirk. But his people and his legacy and his forefathers came from a legacy of shirk. And when he says, Alam nashrah laka sadrak, Allah is saying, didn't we expand your chest? The guidance that you were seeking, we gave you. We gave you the thing that dayyaq sadrak, that really closed your chest, that you felt so overwhelmed by what people were doing, your people were doing, that you had to flee to Mount Hira to find an answer to this depravity that your people were doing. And we gave you the answer through Jibreel alayhi salam, Alam nashrah laka sadrak. Then Allah says, I want to make sure I get the kitab right. وَوَضَعْنَا عَنْكَ وِزْرَكَ. Not you, someone else, can you translate that for me? Who knows what a mawdu' hadith is? Mawdu'. Fabricated. But do you know what mawdu' itself means? Wada'a. Oh, I said not you, man. Cut this guy out of the video, yeah? Wada'a means put down. Okay? Mawdu', the hadith that is rejected. We put it down. وَوَضَعْنَا. What does the na mean? We. وَوَضَعْنَا عَنْكَ. From you. وَوَضَعْنَا عَنْكَ وِزْرَكَ. Okay? Wizr has multiple meanings. Here, like the wazir, what does a wazir? You know who was assistant minister. What is he's a minister assistant? he takes upon himself burdens. Is number 2. Takes upon himself burdens. Wizr is takes upon wizr. وَلَا تَزْرُ وَزِرَةً وِزْرَ أُخْرى. Do not take upon yourself a burden more than the burden of another person. So wizraka means your affair, your burden, things that are heavy. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, وَوَضَعْنَا عَنْكَ وِزْرَكَ. Now why did he say that? To Nabiyuna alayhi salatu wasalam. This is the mutakallim here is speaking to Rasul alayhi salatu wasalam. Specifically, Anka, not Ankum. Ankum is talking to the Ummah. Anka is talking to Nabi. And this is a very beautiful in the Quran. When you read the Quran and you read the personal dialogue, the personal tarbiyah of Allah to His Messenger, is very beautiful. If you don't understand Arabic, you wouldn't. This is just completely oblivious to you. But when you read many times in the Quran, Allah speaking directly and specifically to His beloved. And this is one of those surah. وَوَضَعْنَا عَنْكَ وِزْرَكَ. Because the Prophet ﷺ, when he realized Tawheed is the answer to the question, he was like, well, I came from a heritage of shirk. And I am the Nabi of Tawheed. So this burden of his legacy was very heavy upon the shoulders of Rasulullah. How can I have come from this legacy? Why did I reject this so-and-so and call for Tawheed? All of these things were going through the sadr, the chest and the mind and the feelings of Rasulullah. But Allah saying, وَضَعْنَا عَنْكَ وِزْرَكَ. This heavy burden that you felt of, I came from a legacy of shirk, not actually, obviously, as we know, practicing shirk, but legacy of shirk. And the answer was Tawheed. What is my situation? We know as Muslims that anyone that comes to Islam, all of their sins are forgiven. Prophet ﷺ, maybe, Allahu Alam, but here you can see he was very conscious, but what about all the things that I did? You know, we have narrations that he went to parties, but he went to sleep at those parties. You know, people were, you know, his family, his father, everyone, uncles were all mushrikeen. What was my situation? Allah is saying, وَضَعْنَا عَنْكَ وِزْرَكَ. This burden you feel, we have forgiven you. This is what, if you read the tafsir, they say, غَفَرْنَا لَكَ ذَنْبَكَ. We have forgiven any sins that you have made committed, even though the Prophet ﷺ never committed sins. وَوَضَعْنَا عَنْكَ وِزْرَكَ. لم نشرح لك صدر وَوَضَعْنَا عَنْكَ وِزْرَكَ الذي أنقض ظهرك. الذي أنقض ظهرك. الذي أنقض ظهرك. Very simple words in the surah, so that's why I'm asking you. Alladhi. Who can tell me what alladhi is? Singular. And the thing. And the singular, alladhi, and the thing, anqada dhaharak. Okay, this is more complex. Anqada dhaharak means athqala. Almost breaking your back. Anqada dhahar is the back. Dhaharak, your back. That almost broke your back. Alladhi anqada dhaharak. The burden of realizing where you came from and what the truth is almost broke the figurative back of Rasulullah. This was the burden. This is, or the Prophet ﷺ, as we know, is of the highest of ikhlas. The mukhlis, if they commit a sin, as we know the hadith says, it feels like a mountain. A sin feels like a mountain to them. For the mujrim, it's like a just a bee, شو اسمه, a fly flying around. خلاص, there's a fly right here. It's nothing. It means nothing. The mukhlis, mountain. So to think Rasulullah alayhi salatu wasalam, but I came from shirk. How heavy a burden that was upon his shoulders. Allah said, غَفَرْنَا لَكَ. We have forgiven you for any mistake you could have made. أَلَمْ نَشْرَحْ لَكَ صَدْرَكَ وَوَضَعْنَا عَنْكَ وِزْرَكَ الَّذِي أَنْقَضَ ظَهْرَكَ وَرَفَعْنَا لَكَ ورفعنا ورفعنا لك ذكرك. What is رفع? مرفوع حديث. Raised. مرفوع حديث is like the accepted one. So رفع, look at this, the beauty of the Quranic language. What was wada? Put down. What is rafa? Raised. Look at the beauty of the poetry of the Quran. وَرَفَعْنَا لَكَ. Laka is for you. What is dhikrak? What is dhikr? Remembrance. Dhikraka? Your remembrance. وَرَفَعْنَا لَكَ ذِكْرَكَ. What does this mean? Does anyone know? Reputation.
Yeah, raised for you your rank.
Your rank. Anyone else have an answer? A beautiful hadith which explains this. I will go for it here. So,
Also, you can say that we've made you someone that will be well known.
well known. That is one explanation. كلهم صح. They are all correct. So, عن أبي الهاشم عن أبي سعيد الخدري. Upon Abu al-Hashim and Abu Sa'id al-Khudri. عن رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم, upon the authority of Rasulullah عليه الصلاة والسلام, أنه قال أتاني جبريل. Jibril came to me. فقال إن ربي وربك يقول. Indeed, my Lord and your Lord says, كيف رفعت لك ذكرك. So this is, Jibril is the narrator. كيف رفعت لك ذكرك. Now with the Arabic I've taught you today, you should know what this means. كيف حالك means, how are you? She'll get rid of the حال. كيف means, how. كيف رفعت. What's this again? What's this? How did I raise? كيف رفعت لك ذكرك. Who can put the whole sentence in translation?
How did I raise your remembrance?
Yes. How did I raise your remembrance? كيف رفعت لك ذكرك. قال, Rasul عليه الصلاة والسلام said, الله أعلم. Everyone should know what this means. Allah knows best. Qala, Allah is responding. On the Rawi is Jibril alayhi salatu wasalam. إذا ذكرت معي. So beautiful. إذا ذكرت, if I am remembered, يعني Allah, ذكرت معي. You are remembered with me. What does Allah is referring to? When I am remembered, Allah is saying this. When I am remembered, you are remembered with me. The Shahadatain. La ilaha illallah Muhammad Rasulullah. Look at the beauty of this. La ilaha illallah. When I am remembered, when the believers say La ilaha illallah, they say Muhammad Rasulullah. إذا ذكرت ذكرت معي ورفعنا لك ذكرك. This is how Jibril alayhi salatu wasalam explained to Rasulullah what is meant وَرَفَعْنَا لَكَ ذِكْرَكَ. There is no, they say there is no second that passes where adhan isn't given in the dunya. Whenever the adhan is given, Allah is mentioned and Rasul alayhi salatu wasalam is mentioned with him. وَرَفَعْنَا لَكَ ذِكْرَكَ. Now we get to the crux of today's talk. فإن مع العسر يسرا. Ibrahim, what does that mean? Who can help Ibrahim? For indeed, مع العسر, there is ease. Indeed, where there is hardship, there is ease. Now, what is the explanation of this ayah? I'm sure most of you know.
Common view is that after the hardship
Yes. That is an explanation, the most dominant explanation, classical explanation. Whenever hardship befalls you, have sabr, because the hardship will pass away and the yusra will come. فَإِنَّ مَعَ الْعُسْرِ يُسْرًا. So there's, after the hardship, have sabr, ease will come. And then it is added to, because the next ayah in the Quran is a repetition of that. فَإِنَّ Oh, sorry, yes. إِنَّ. No fa. مع العسر يسرا. So they say لن يغلب العسر يسرين. No single hardship can overcome two yusr. So they say that in each hardship there is at least two blessings, goodnesses that will come out of that. So the classic, go on. It doesn't specify believers, which is a very important point. It's very good that you mentioned that. It does not specify believers. The sigha, the form of the expression is general. It doesn't say believers, which is a very important point. We always think that's related to believers, which is not the case. So, فَإِنَّ مَعَ الْعُسْرِ يُسْرًا إِنَّ مَعَ الْعُسْرِ يُسْرًا. Allah is, when Allah wants to emphasize something, or in Arabic language, whenever you want to emphasize something, you repeat it. In any language, really. But also you have here the repetition of the inna. Inna means definitely, indeed, for a surety. So it's multiplied. The emphasis is multiplied. Inna ma'al asri yusra. Now I want to bring to you additional meanings to inna ma'al usri yusra. So the first one which you mentioned is that hardship happens upon you. Okay? And then you have sabr. And then you have the ease. That was, would you say that's the classical understanding? There is some hidden understandings of this. That and in the usr, not after the usr, there is yusr. In the usr, there is yusr. That without going through that hardship, you would never ever have found the yusr. So not having patience, the yusr will come. The yusr is in the usr. I'll give you a personal story. When I was 14 years old, we grew up in Islington, very racist Islington. Racist physical abuse was a daily occurrence. Daily violence. We're in Somers Town. We wouldn't have had this talk in Somers Town 20 years ago. Daily occurrence, okay? Around here as well. Daily occurrences. Physical, not verbal. We get people quiet today, but he texted, he said I was this and that will come out. Grow up, man. Go back to the 80s. And you would wish they would just give you a text message. So we were physically, verbally abused. I joined, so New Year is about to start. I started at that, it used to be called the 4th year, secondary school. Some white kid thought I would be the next target of his aggression. Started getting bullied at the beginning of the 4th year. This guy, whenever he saw me, he would bully me. I went to the headmaster, told him, it's funny for you guys, man. Ask Ahmed, it wasn't funny for us. It wasn't funny for us. So I said, like, this kid's bullying me, you know, so and so. This guy was, he was from, he's around, he's in Barnsbury. Probably one of your friends, man. So this guy was just trouble. He was 5th year. Today is year 11. They wanted to get rid of him. And this was like the last straw. We're going to expel this kid anyway. We're going to get rid of him. They expelled him. I'm going home for lunch one day, about a week or so after he got expelled, going to have my mum's curry and rice. Waiting for me outside the gates was this same kid. And I got bricked, beaten, sent to hospital. And that was like, that's it, man. That's not happening to me anymore. That is not happening to me anymore. I'm not going to be the tall, skinny, packy anymore. Everyone strikes, I strike back. So that event, which was a very low event, changed me significantly. I'm not going to get bullied anymore. So in the usr, I found my yusr. And I became a different person. Each of you would have maybe some personal experiences where without that hardship, you would have never found the thing that gave you your ease. So the ease doesn't only come with sabr after the hardship. The ease could be the hardship itself. The greatest example for us today is Ahlul Gaza, the people of Gaza. Hardship we cannot even imagine. But they have shown to the world that they are the most insaniya, they have the most humanity of all of human beings. That they are the only free people on the face of this earth. And that they are the heroes of the future world. The unimaginable hardship that they are going through, though they cannot see it today, is going to be the unimaginable plus, because yusratain, wonders that will come when this hardship ends. So that yusr is in the usr. So hardship happens. So you could say that usr is in the usr, and then you will find your ease. And then when people go through that, they thank Allah, or they thank those who don't believe that they went through that usr. Because if I didn't go through that, I would have never found the gem that I was looking for. Does that make sense? Now, who can guess what the third one is? I'm not saying there's only three. There's multiple.
Third, as in third explanation.
Another explanation of the usr, yusr, connection. I will explain. I will explain with the question I asked.
Isn't there one view that the usr is the hardship in this dunya? The ease is the reward in the akhirah. I don't know if it's a minority view or something, but I seem to vaguely recall that.
That, I think, is multifaceted. Multifaceted. That could be an explanation as well.
That the one, the hardship is the
That's the one I used to explain.
Yeah, no, that one is basically saying the hardship is the dunya and the trials and everything. The ease is Jannah.
Could be. Yes, that it is multifaceted. That would be like having after a difficult, but it could be related. And let me explain. I will explain by the question I asked you at the beginning. What car do you want, Baba? M140. How much is that car? Come. He's been looking on all trader, man. You know where you put your wallet. 70, 80K. Okay. 100K. You've got all the specs, all the blue lights underneath, everything like that. Yes, going to come to 100K. Going to Dash, how many kids you got? 2, mashallah. If you want to Dash, how are you going to work? How are you going to get a living? Don't tell me your brother's back home are going to feed you, yeah? You're trying to make business over there. Your property land, okay, it's all coming out now, yeah? The quiet one is all the one. You go back to his house in Bangladesh, he's got a palace. What was it else? You wanted the car as well, wasn't it? M5. How much M5? Nearly 100K. How are you going to raise 100K to get an M5? How are you going to raise 100K to get an M5? Job plus eat money. That's a very
He's saying enough, he's got 70 quid. He's well on his way.
To get these things, right? To get these things, M5. Was everyone, Baba? M142I. 40. 40. Going to Bangladesh and living like a badshah. All of these things cost money, difficulty, hardship. Right? I know a lot of you are, the fact that you didn't want to open up to your dreams and aspirations when I know you have them. Because you're scared, Noor is going to hassle me for the next 5 years. When are you going to get this thing that you said in that talk when Imdad spoke? Right? You were too scared even to express it. Because that is hard to even state it and get it out of my head, out of my dreams, out of my aspirations. That itself is hard. To put it out there in the open is hard. Right? So this stuff is hard. Okay? But this stuff isn't the real hard stuff. This is your ease. This is the yusra. This is your yusra, right? The M5, the M140 going to settle in Bangladesh. That's your yusra. In order to get that yusra, there is a hell of amount of usra. So you're here, okay? 2025. This is 2030. In order to get there, the bridge of Asr is in front of me. These are reality, small dreams. If any of you listen to Diary of a CEO, listen to all these podcasts of successful people, M5 is small change. They dream of becoming billionaire. Every kid now wants to become a billionaire. Haven't got a clue how to become a billionaire. It's the bridge of Asr. That's the yusr. In order to get there, you have to go through hardship. You didn't think I was going to say something else, did you? You're going to go through hardship on a daily basis. That's why most people don't have an M5 unless they finance it, or an MI 140. And most people, by the time they want to emigrate to Bangladesh, they're on incapacity benefit, living in the same council house they were in when they were born. Like me. Because to get there is asr. Yeah.
Some of them interesting, I think it's a shadow. You know, they say that the writing was so soft.
So what, sorry?
It was so difficult for him.
Yeah. Yeah.
They say that that was a difficulty in a specific moment. And when he was being received by him, it was a very difficult experience.
So when I read the Tabari, he normally gives the multiple explanations. I didn't read that particular one, but I'm not saying it's not there. It could be A, could be one. But let's focus on this. In order to get your yusr, you would see all the asr. Most people don't even attempt it. Most people don't even attempt it. They take the easy route. They will prefer to have a small yusr here. I'll stay where I am. I'll stay working in HMRC for the next 20 years, looking for my pension and my extra days of holiday, rather than get the dreams that I was too scared to say in the talk. Life is hard. One of the most important lessons you need to learn in life is that life is hard. And if I want always to take the easy route out, I'm going to say stuck exactly where I am. Unfortunately, the Muslim world stuck here. The culture of the Muslim world is to cop out, is to not take the hard path. But we live in the West. They say if you want to achieve your dreams, you have to be willing to tread the path. You have all these podcasts, Diary of a CEO, what other ones are there out there? So you listen to them, you see? He dreams. Go on. Go on, say it, man. I won't cuss you anymore. Go on. Seeking Minds. What was the other one you mentioned? There's plenty of them out there. If you go to America, it's so many. Because so many people have dreams. Say again? Ali Abdaal, he's a Muslim actually, yeah, from UK. So many people have dreams, but they realize that the path to that dream is full of hardship. I'm going to take that. I'm going to take my steps. Don't care about the ridicule that people will give me for having such a big dream. I've been in many Muslim business circles. Like you think, wow, the wow Muslims. Believe me, the biggest they have of dreaming is just copying what the West done. That's the biggest. I'm like, is that it? You're Muslim. Why do you want to just copy they did that in Europe, let's do that in the Middle East. They did that here, let's do that over there. We're so small thinking, unambitious, broken, that the best amongst us, all they think of is just copying what the West did. It's a shame upon us and our world. Allah is teaching us in this surah, life is hard. But if you want the wonders of life, you need to go through that fire of hardship. But Muslims, it's okay. I'll stay where I am. And that's why we are here in London. Not to praise some of the evil that they did, but the culture of the West is going through the fire of hardship to get to the other side of Yusr. And that comes to your point, that it doesn't only apply to Muslims. Nowhere in this ayah does it say, this is for Muslims. Allah is telling about us, about the connection with ease with hardship. They are inseparable. Hardship and ease are inseparable. If you want ease, you're going to have to go through hardship. If you don't want the ease, you're going to have to stay in hardship for the rest of your life. Either man up and take the path, or stay in the same place where you are and just accept hardship. That's what we've become. We've just accepted hardship. It's become our coping mechanism. Because we're too weak to find or step upon the bridge of Usr and the hardship that it has upon its path to get out the other side. That's on a global level. On a personal level, if you can't do that on a personal level, you can't get on the other side. Who has tried to become an entrepreneur?
Sorry, what's
An entrepreneur, their own business.
who has tried?
Yeah. It's hard, isn't it? 95% of the things you do are things you don't want to do. I don't want to do that, but no one's going to do it but you.
Having a physical shop, just having online.
Just having an online business. Most of the things you do is hard, isn't it? You don't want to do it. That's why most entrepreneurs just forget that, man. I'll just at HMRC. they pay for my holiday. They pay for my sick pay. You know, if I don't want to go in, I just say I'm not feeling well. It's all easy, man. So on a personal level, if we can't achieve that, if we always stay in the hardship, we won't be able to do it on the global level.
Yeah, I think
Absolutely. And that's a great point. And added on to that point is the disbelievers that made it, who gave them the results? The same Khaliq. Allah rewarded them for the hardship and the path of Usr that they took. We always think that Islam and Allah is only for us. The kafirin, they're outside of this sphere of Islam. Allah gave them the results as well as not giving us the results. Why? Because Allah, as we know, generally speaking, rewards the efforts. They put in the hard work, and when you listen to them, the stories of successful people, all hard work. You know, Ronaldo, everyone talks about Ronaldo. Ronaldo trained harder than anyone else in that team, in any team. We have a great example in Mohamed Salah today. He's not there because he was good to his parents, because he worked hard. But we do that and we know the results in the hands of Allah. So generally speaking, that is the case. Not to specific scenarios, because generally some person can work harder than anyone else and not get the results. Khabib is a great example. Yes. Allah gave him and gave the disbelievers as well, who also, whatever field they were, trained harder, studied harder, worked harder than anyone else. And also another explanation of your point that you mentioned at the beginning, at the Muslim mentality. The best way I can explain that is an image. Now I want you all to get your phones out and type in search Arab, Japanese work ethic. Arab, Japanese work ethic. In the search results, I want you to tap on images. And one of those images that you see would be two caricatures, one of an Arab and one of a Japanese man. Have you got that? Yeah, that one. Ahmad, can you read that? You got the microphone?
Yeah.
Give him the microphone. I want you to read out what it says. You can all read it, but for the people watching on the video.
Yeah, Japanese attitude for work. If one can do it, I can do it. If no one can do it, I must do it. The Middle Eastern attitude for work. Wallahi, wallahi, if one can do it, let him do it. If no one can do it, ya Habibi, how can I do it?
That is the epitome, not of just the Middle Eastern attitude, but the Muslim attitude you mentioned. Defeatist. It's not racist, it's true. Trust me. It's true. Japan, after the Second World War, was a destroyed country. 2 nuclear bombs dropped upon them. Absolutely destroyed country. By the 1980s, they were, I think, the second largest economy in the world. Likewise, Germany, absolutely destroyed after the Second World War. By the 1990s, they were the most powerful economy in Europe. This is why they say, anyone done economics? Economics. What is the greatest resource of any nation? What is it?
There's different perspectives on it, but the view I hold is
It's the human capital. Not the gold, not the oil, not the uranium, not the lithium, not any mineral that Allah has put under your feet or any weather you have over your head. The greatest resource of any nation is the human capital. If you have the human capital, even after being destroyed, you would come back. This mentality that you saw in that image, unfortunately, is the reason the Muslim world is in such a sorry state. Because our mind defeats us. If your mind defeats you, you will achieve nothing in life. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is telling us, we read, this surah is a short surah. It's one of the ones that most Muslims might pick for their salah. But it means absolutely nothing to them. Just water off a bridge, under a bridge. Allah is telling us, life is hard. If you want your yusr, you're going to have to go through hardship. This is the beauty of Islam, the beauty of the Quran. We don't do tadabbur of the Quran. So all of these powerful meanings, so concentrated in this short surah, we should contemplate over them. Because we read them in the salah. Every Muslim can read Surah Al-Sharah in the salah. If we're to contemplate over the nature of hardship and ease, maybe by 2030, we as an ummah will find ourselves in a different place. I didn't finish the surah, by the way, so if any comments on the video, that's I didn't finish the surah. I'll finish the talk, inshallah. You know the rest, the other ayatain, we can talk about that.